this is another story. So we're just gonna dive in a little bit of this. Do you know in 1949, black men Charles Greenlee, Walter Irvin, Samuel Shepard, and Ernest Thomas were accused of raping a white woman in Graveland, Florida, during the Jim Crow era. The accusations were later proven false, but the men suffered horrified treatment. One was killed by police during a supposed escape attempt to execute despite questionable trials, and one survives years in prison.
Racism is a group system.
Make that make any sense? This is how black men suffer in the hand of racism system. In the 2020, exoneration by a Florida judge came more than 70 years after these events, officially clearing the names and acknowledging the racial injustice they endure. This was a formal attempt to partially rectify the miscarriage of justice. For came decades too late to undo the suffering and death caused. It's an example of how system racism in the mid-20th, 21st century USA legal system could completely destroy lives, and how long it can take for justice, even symbolic, to be recognized. This is how pure racism can be for black people, how racism always is for black people. It doesn't matter what white people they're gonna say. The system, it was created to make them feel good to be good. But the system is always against black people no matter what. So when I see white people or Asian people, let me just break it down to this category. Let's remove black people aside. When I see white people, Indian people, Pakistan people, Mexican, Latino, all of them, the Chinese, all them Asian, the Arabic, they point their fingers to the black people. Look at all of these criminals. Look at all of these fags. Do you know what black people they always go through? The system is always against them. Especially when you live in a country like America. It's the most racial discrimination country in the world and the most hypocritical country in the world. And it breaks my heart. And when I see black American or black African American, that they're always against the African and they're praising the European, it breaks my heart. Because they do not know that the European, they don't like them, just the way the European, they don't like the African. It don't make no sense when I see a black person praising the European, talking down on black people, and you're forgetting your own history, that you've been looked down just like African is being looked down. Even if you call the American your country, do you know what European America they do to the blacks? And you live in that country as well. Look at this. Young black men, they were from the age of 16 to 26 years old. A white woman accused them. And do you know the worst thing is, the most racist biased chef in the Florida, he didn't even go to prison. They fabricate everything about them for black men 16 to 26 years old. Two of them dead, execute when I'm saying they were innocent, they didn't do anything. And I'm not just too, so you can see me when I said 20th century and 21st century, because it's not something that it happened back in the day and they finish over there. That's why I'm gonna say this again. History is there for us to try to understand, study, understand, learn, trying to make sense of it. Why this always happening? For black people to progress, to make any great progression in our lives, is the most difficult way you can ever imagine. We are the people that we've been held by chain, and that chain has never been removed. We can see the physical chain is not around us anymore, but let me tell you, the chain that you cannot see, that's the problem. Majority of us were not free. I'm gonna go back to the slave that said, Fountain Huge, what he said. He said, when we all heard we are free, some black, they were happy they are free, they celebrate. But some black, they didn't want to be free. They wanted to remain enslaved, and we have them black people until this day. That's why you can see my great-grandfather, my father, Malcolm X said it the best. If you are black man, you're criticizing the African. That it means you're criticizing yourself. You don't like who you are. If you are black man, you're looking down to the African. You're looking down to yourself. You have so much hate in yourself. This is brother Malcolm X when he was talking about, he said, African is who we are. You cannot deny the roots where you came from.
We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America.
Hating on the African, you're hating on yourself. We need to understand that European white people, they hate you just as much they hate the African.
Within the subconscious of the black man in this country, he's still more African than he is American. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African. And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it.
Don't separate yourself to make yourself feel better, or go to a white person saying, I don't like Negro. I've seen a black person, like American man, praising a white supremacy, saying, you didn't pull gun on me. I have more Negro pull gun on me than you can ever. You know, you can say whatever you want to say to me, but you never pull gun on me. You know, I hate niggas. This a black man saying I hate niggas because I got more nigga pull guns on me than you. Tell me.
He brainwashed the so-called Negro to the point of believing in white supremacy so much that today some Negroes think that they're not making progress or they don't have anything unless they're living in a white neighborhood, unless they have the white man's neighborhood, a seat in the white man's school, or a position on the white man's job, and they even have taken it so far they don't think they're successful unless...
Black men, we like to pull down on ourselves. A black man, we like to look down on ourselves. This is what we do. It is so sad when I see how we look down on ourselves. We need to try to make a change. We have to try to make a change. The problem with us is not the change that we can see, but it's the change that we cannot see. That is the problem. We're struggling to remove it. The change that we see, we remove it. But it's them chain that is invisible is the problem. And we became locked in them chain. And it's all of us black people. It doesn't matter if you're in Africa, European, in America, in the Caribbean. We all have the chain, invisible one. We're struggling to remove it. That's why we need to start speaking to each other. So we need to start understanding the struggle that we have on us. Look at 4 young black men. They lost their life. They were sentenced. They killed them 4 young black men. I don't care. 70 years. They exonerate them. That's bullshit to me. And this was in time of Jim Crow, Florida. That's the mess. We tend to try to look down on ourselves because we don't like what we see. We live in a mess world. That's why I would like for y'all to check my podcast, The Mess with Fortan Zimbo. The Mess with Fortan Zimbo. That's the mess for today. What do you think about the stories? What do you think about this story? If you like all of this story, please drop a comment, share, like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.